Right then, hello. Here with a review of an album that has just come out. Liam Gallagher's latest album, Come On You Know. His third album following on from 2017's As You Were and 2019's, what was it said? Why Me, Why Not? So this album was recorded predominantly in lockdown during 2020 and 2021. And Liam has said that this is a experimental album. Having listened to it, I don't know if I'd use the word experimental to describe it, but there we go. Anyway, I'll start off by showing you, this is the only copy I have, this vinyl copy. That's the front cover, which everybody knows. That's the back cover, which I suppose a lot of people want to see. And that is the gatefold. I believe all these pictures are taken from Reading. In a sleeve, picture of Liam, and lyrics on the back. It's also got the personnel on here. It looks very hard to follow though, but if you're interested in the personnel, it is on here. And yeah. So this album was announced quite a while ago. I think it was announced last September. And I'll be honest, I'd forgotten all about it. It came out last Friday, which at the time of recording this it's now May 31st. It came out on the 27th of May. And I'll be honest, like I said there, I completely forgotten about it. I woke up that morning unaware that it had even come out. It wasn't until my mate messages to say, have you heard the new album? And I just looked, I messaged him back and said, what new album? And he said LG's, and I was like, oh yeah, that's out today, isn't it? So, his other two albums, As You Were and Why Me, Why Not, I'll be honest, I haven't listened to them in full from start to finish for probably about 2 years now. I don't really care massively for Liam's solo stuff. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just not massively interested or into it. And this album is going to be no different. I don't envision myself listening to this next week, to be honest, let alone next year. But there are a few tracks. There's a few tracks that I still listen to from time to time from As You Were and Why Me, Why Not. And this album here will be no different. There'll be a few tracks I listen to from time to time. But I don't think I'll listen to it all that often. Normally when a new album comes out, I want to listen to it because I'm enjoying it. With this album, I've been listening to it purely just to try and get to know it a bit to do this video. But a lot of people will big this album up like they did the other two. They'll make it sound like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's not. It is very much run-of-the-mill. It's typical Liam Gallagher. I know he'll say it's experimental. For him, it's experimental. For most people, it's nothing extraordinary. But there are some great tracks on here. There's some utter crap on here as well, but there is some great tracks. So first thing I want to talk about is this artwork. So this photo, I think, is from Reading. Funnily enough, I was at Transmit, which was the next festival he did, I think. And he came and did this again, where we were stood. But I didn't get on it, it was about that close. Didn't get on he hasn't used a Transmit one anywhere, I don't think. But I didn't get on the Transmit one because I'm not a girl and they wouldn't let boys past. They had to have bare tits. But it don't matter anyway because he's used a Reading photo. And it's a great picture, but I don't think it's a great album cover because when I look at this cover, Liam's there. He's not the first thing I noticed. I noticed this chap here first, and then I always thought this was a lad in the cow bucket hat, but is it a girl? Might be a girl actually. And then I noticed this fella down here as well, who I think looks a bit like Ian Brown. And then eventually I noticed Liam, and I'm like, oh, there's Liam. But it's not so bad here on the vinyl because it's big, but on like a little picture on your phone or whatever, or even the CD, I imagine, Liam won't stand out very much. I don't think it's the greatest cover in the world, but again, there'll be a lot of people out there who think this is brilliant. Which, fair enough if you want to believe that. It is this typical man of the people thing that people seem to think he is. But yeah, as an album cover, it's alright, I suppose. I mean, it wouldn't be my choice. I think it's a great picture. It'd have been quite good on a sleeve or something, or on the gatefold. But as the cover itself, nah, I don't think it's the fact it's black. Maybe if it was in colour. But then Liam just wears black anyway, so maybe he should wear a spotty shirt like me. No. So yeah, the cover itself, I don't know, because I didn't like the artwork for As You Were. The artwork for Why Me, Why Not, I preferred it. But yeah, that's just my opinion on the artwork. So, at the time of recording this, the charts haven't been announced, but it's pretty safe to bet that this will go to number 1. It will be his 4th number 1. And chances are he's also going to get another album in the top 5, which will be that Down by the River Thames, which I ordered the vinyl off Amazon, and it's still not here. I've had an email this morning to tell me it's not going to be here until June 17th, so I might cancel my Amazon order and run uptown now and get a copy from HMV, see what I can find. But yeah, once again, Liam is working with his army of songwriters, although there are 2 tracks on here that he's wrote himself. I'll get into them though in a minute. It's produced by many people who I can't remember any of their names. But yeah, now there was 3 singles, I think. It was the 4. There was 3 pre-released. Did the 4th one come out the day before, a day or 2 before? There was maybe 4, but there was definitely 3, but potentially 4. And I'll be honest, I didn't at the time get into the singles. Some of them have grown on me now, but when they first came out, I was a bit, oh dear, I don't like these singles. And yeah, 2 of them have grown on me. One of them, no, it has not. But yeah, it's decent enough, some of them. And before this album came out, obviously certain people got early copies to review it, and there were people saying to me, this is going to be great, this, because look at all these great reviews. And I don't get people who don't understand that these people who get early copies are going to give it a positive review, because if they sit and slag it off when he releases his next album, they're not going to get an early copy, are they? So there we go. If you're going to pay attention to reviews, wait to the ones that come out the day once the album's released. But there is some decent reviews of this out there. There is some questionable ones. I mean, NME I haven't read the NME review, but I imagine they've bigged it up, big style. Probably his best album since Morning Glory or something like that. I do think this is his best solo album. I don't think it's anything great, but I do think it's his strongest solo album. It's his most interesting anyway. And if I had to pick one of the 3 to come back to, it would probably be this one. Anyway, I'm rambling on here, so I'll get into the track by track review. So, opens with More Power. This is an interesting thing, because his first 2 albums, As You Were and Why Me, Why Not, they both open with the lead single, Wall of Glass and Shockwave, respectively. This doesn't open with the lead single. And of all his albums, I think this is his best opening track out of all his albums he's done. And that would be very controversial, because there's a lot of love for those other 2 songs I've just mentioned, but I think this is a better song. And it opens with a children's choir, which at first you're like, am I listening to the right album here? But the song itself, it's kind of similar to, well, it's not kind of, it's obviously taken a lot of inspiration from You Can't Always Get What You Want by the Stones, because that opens with a choir singing one of the verses, and I think these kids are singing one of the verses. And the similarities to You Can't Always Get What You Want doesn't stop there, because one of the lyrics, once Liam eventually does start singing, is you won't get the girl you want, but you'll get the girl you need. You know, you can't always get what you want, but you try sometimes, you get what you need. It's very original, isn't it? But for me personally, this is one of the best songs on the album. It could be best on it, to be honest. I really like More Power, and I think it's a great song. I think he sings it very well, and I like the kids' choir on it. Yeah, kids' choir. I'm gonna say, I've got to be careful. That doesn't sound dodgy. Anyway, track after that is Diamond in the Dark. I was surprised this wasn't the second single off the album. It's got a bit of an Arctic Monkeys vibe to it. It's very much like an AM era Arctic Monkeys tune. But I'll be honest, I don't mind the song, but I won't be listening to it in a month's time. It's just run of the mill for me. I don't really care for it. I think he did it live on that Rockfield documentary. I did watch that documentary, but I'll be honest, there was a few things where I just skipped through his live performances. I definitely skipped through the live performance of The River. And possibly not. I maybe watched this one because it was a new song, but I did watch the Oasis reviews, but performances, sorry. But yeah, the Diamond in the Dark itself, like I said, it's got an Arctic Monkeys vibe, but it would have been a good single, I think. Was it a single? Did they release this maybe a day or 2 before it came out? I kind of remember, but it should have been the second single. It would have been a lot better than what was the second single. But yeah, Diamond in the Dark, it's alright, but I won't be listening to it in a week's time, put it that way. Track 3 is Don't Go Halfway. I've listened to this album a few times, maybe 5-6 times, and I can't remember this song. That's how much of an impact it's had on me. There's a lyric about being in a flat somewhere or another. That's all I can remember. So I'm sorry, I won't be listening to this song again in a hurry, because it's made no impact on me. But if you like this song, good on you. Enjoy it. Right, so track 4, Come On You Know. This one was the second single off the album, and this is the title track. I'll be honest, as the second single, I can't believe they chose this to be a single, because to me, this song is utter filler. It is, yeah, it's crap. It's not the worst on the album, but it's a genuinely bad song, I think. It just doesn't go anywhere. It's 5-6 minutes of the same thing. The same sort of guitar thing, and then an orchestra does eventually come in, and there's I think a choir singing along. But yeah, Liam wrote it on his own, and yeah, it's just get his army of songwriters back in, because if this is what he's going to write, then don't Liam, it's terrible. But yeah, 5-6 minutes of utter nonsense, really. It's just, I skip it, to be honest. I skip this song. I can't believe it was a single. And I should have said the name of this album, Come On You Know. I'm sorry, I find it cringy. Someone said to me a few days ago, it might have been my girlfriend, but it might not have been. And they said that Liam Gallagher is like your dad who's just discovered text talk for the first time, and now he won't stop using it. Yeah, there's just something... I like the name Why Me, Why Not. I thought that was quite a cool name, but As You Were as well, I thought... it's not that was text talk, but it's... I think it's something he signs his tweets off with. I don't look at Liam's Twitter anymore because I've got bored of him, to be honest. So. But yeah, some people will like it. Some people will think it's a good, you know. It's like, yes, come on, Liam. Yes, come on, you know. Anyway, track 5, Too Good for Giving Up. So this one, I've seen online a lot of people hyping this one up. And yeah, it's an alright tune. Again, I think it goes on a bit. It's about 3.5, 4 minutes, and after 2 minutes I'm like, are we not finished this yet? But it's not a bad song by any means. It just seems to go on a bit long. Again, he did this, I can remember him doing this one at the Rockfield Studios documentary thingy he did, and yeah, this one I can imagine he's going to do this one live. It's alright, but it's now special. I don't think I'll be listening to this one in a week's time. Next track is It Was Not Meant To Be. This is, thankfully, the album for me here picks up again, because I really like this song. It's got a bit of a Beatles vibe to it, which I like. And it goes a bit psychedelic as well in places. It's got like funny sounds and things. Very experimental, kind of like 1966 Beatles era, kind of Revolver period. Yeah, I really like It Was Not Meant To Be. Yeah, one of the better songs. Right, next up is the lead single, Everything's Electric. This is probably the most traditional Liam Gallagher sounding thing on here. A thing you definitely expect from him. And, I mean, it's alright. I don't think it's anything special, but it's catchy enough. Yeah, I've seen him do it live a few times on the telly. I've never seen him do it in person, but I've seen him on the telly do it live, and I can't, listening to the recording of it, I can't imagine you can hit them high notes very easily. But yeah, it's decent enough. Some people have compared it, the name obviously gets compared to She's Electric. It's not in the league of She's Electric, but yeah, it's decent enough. He did it at the Brits, didn't he, with all the lights and stuff flying about. Yeah, it's an alright tune. It's, as a lead single, I think it's a better song than Wall of Glass and Shockwave. I don't really care for either of those two songs, but Everything's Electric I do kind of enjoy. Right, next up, World's in Need. In my opinion, this is possibly the best on the album. I really, really like this song. Liam wrote this one on his own, and unlike Come On You Know, he's actually done a good job here. This is very, very Liam Gallagher. In terms of songwriting, it sounds very much like a later day Oasis B-side. Yeah, I really like World's in Need, and I'm trying to remember how it goes now. It's something about sailing the 7 seas, Come On Baby Blue, all of that stuff, which, you know, Come On Baby Blue, is that him stealing lyrics from Let There Be Love? I don't know, probably not. But yeah, World's in Need. Pretty good song. I like World's in Need. It's one of the better ones on the album, in my opinion. Right, track 9, Moscow Rules. Again, this is another contender for my favourite on the album. This is probably the most experimental thing. It does not sound like the typical thing you'd expect from Liam. And I like it. I really like Moscow Rules. It's very much like, I can't decide. It sounds like something you expect on like an Agatha Christie murder mystery sort of programme. The theme tune to it. You know, that sort of thing, like, or a black and white 1920s silent film or something. It would sound a silent film. That's not a good thing to describe, is it? But it sounds on a silent film. But anyway, Moscow Rules, I really like it. It's very interesting. I probably will keep listening to this one because I think, oh, it's different, it's interesting. And yeah, I really like Moscow Rules. The name of it is possibly a bit controversial at the minute. But yeah, it does sound very mysterious, and that's the best way I can describe it. Like, I don't know, Midsummer Murders sort of thing, like the theme tune to Midsummer Murders. Just a murder mystery sort of film. Probably in black and white. Yeah, I really like Moscow Rules. It's very different and I like it for that. Next up, track 10, I'm Free. I'm not going to beat around the bush. Worst on the album, one of the worst things I have ever heard. It seems to have, it's normally around track 10 on Liam albums when the worst song comes along. And As You Were, in my opinion, the worst song is Chinatown. Hate it. Hate Chinatown. And Why Me, Why Not, the worst track was The River, which was around this point of the album. Hate that song. And then with this one is, it's something else. It makes The River and Chinatown look great songs, in my opinion, because this is shit. It is utter shit. He's just shouting. It starts off with Paranoid Git, and then after that he just keeps shouting and shit. And he's described it as punk, and it's not punk. Punk is like Bring It On Down or Head Shrinker or something like that. They're more punk than what this is. Yeah, it's just, it sounds like, the thing with a punk song is like the Sex Pistols, they sound like they mean it when they're singing it. A politically motivated song, they sound like they mean it. Whereas this sounds like it's just some guy who's been given some words to shout. I'm sorry, but it does. It's terrible. It is terrible. And I think it was it my girlfriend that was, when I listened to this with her? Maybe it was maybe someone else. But I think it was her, started laughing when she heard this. And I was like, yeah, it is. It's that bad. It's funny. If you like it, fair enough. You must be blessed with the gift of being able to hear. But if you like it, then you enjoy it. But I will never listen to this song again. And God help us if he does it live, because it's awful. However, thankfully, the album does pick up after that with Better Days, which was the third single, I think, from the album. And a very good song. It's got a bit of a Chemical Brothers vibe with the drums. It does sound very, kind of like Setting Sun, which was a song they did with Noel in the 90s. The drums sound like that. And yeah, lyrically, it's very optimistic. Yeah, it's a very good song. I really like Better Days. And yeah, the video of it's cool as well, on the roof of that hotel in Manchester. I can't remember the name of the hotel. I know exactly where it is, but I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, it's a cool song, Better Days. I like the orchestra on it as well. I imagine it'll be very good live. If you get to see him soon and he does this one, you enjoy it. And then after that, with the closing track, Oh Sweet Children. Again, this one sounds quite Beatley, especially with like the drums and the vocals on the chorus and stuff. Yeah, I like this song. I like it as a closing track. Yeah, really good song. Will I be listening to it in a month's time? I'm not sure, but for now, yeah, it's an alright song. So after that is it for the standard track. There is a deluxe version which has 2 other songs which I've heard, The Joker and, is it Wave? I can't remember, but neither of them are anything special. However, overall, this album seems to be in a mixed bag based on what I've said there. I think I've maybe said, let's have a look. More Power, It Was Not Meant to Be, Everything's Electric, World's in Need, Moscow Rules, Better Days, and Oh Sweet Children, I think are genuinely quite good songs. Diamond in the Dark, Don't Go Halfway, Come On You Know, Too Good for Giving Up, they're just sort of, they're not great, but they're not bad. And I'm Free. Oh dear, we won't go back there. But anyway, so that is Liam's latest album. Like I said, probably won't be listening to this in a week's time. But if you enjoy this album, like, good on you. You enjoy it. Because it's just my opinion. If you happen to think this is the best thing since sliced bread, well, you enjoy that. If this is your album, then you enjoy your album. But for me, yeah, I might listen. There'll be a few tracks I maybe keep listening to off it, but as a whole, it's a mixed bag, really. But in terms of its experimental nature, other than Moscow Rules, there's not really anything massively experimental or out of the ordinary on here. I don't know if he maybe considers having a children's choir experimental, but if I'm Free is considered experimental, then go back to doing Wonderwall and that sort of thing, or B-Tech Wonderwall as he was doing on his other albums. But yeah, I'm going to stop rambling now. Feel free to disagree with me. If you do, you're entitled to that. But yeah, that is all for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon for another thrilling review with my good self. Cheerio.